Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to walk you through the creative engagement assignment instructions. The creative engagement assignment is the first assignment in this course. So let's take a look. You can see here on the left side of the screen I have the actual instructions, and on the right side of the screen I have a Miro application, which is a virtual whiteboard app. It is not mandatory to use this app to complete this assignment, but I'm going to use it for demonstration purposes. And if you'd like to use it, it is one option that's available to you. But you can also use physical tools like actual sticky notes and some kind of writing instrument like a pen. So sticky notes are available to you. But what I like about this virtual whiteboard application is that there is a sticky note feature. So, you could drop a sticky note anywhere and just use that. Okay, so let's take a look. On the left side of the screen here, you can see these are the assignment instructions. I'll zoom in a little bit. At the top, you could see in the top right-hand corner that this is the creative engagement assignment instructions. I'll edit that as we go along. At the top, we have some overarching explanation of what this assignment is all about. So it says here, the creative engagement assignment consists of two parts. Okay, so there's a part one and there's a part two. It's highly recommended that you do part one before you do part two. In fact, you can't even do part two without doing part one. So the creative engagement assignment consists of two parts: application and articulation. So part one is an application part, and part two is a written articulation part. The application part can be thought of as your creative problem-solving process work. So it's your process work. We're going to do some creative problem solving for this assignment, some creative thinking. And the articulation part can be thought of as your write-up. It's your written work explaining what you did during the process work. So first you're going to do some things, which is the application, and then you're going to explain what it is that you did. Part one is the application. It's the process work part. You can see here it says overarching instructions. For this assignment, you are asked to consider the space where you work in your home environment or elsewhere. For example, when designing lessons like this one, I work in a small office area. You could see this right here. This is where I work. And it's attached to the living room in my apartment in downtown Toronto. Where is it that you work? Do you have a desk in the corner of your bedroom? Do you have a desk space in an office area in your home? Do you just work on a countertop in your kitchen? Is it the dining room table? Where is it that you work? Is it on a bed? I don't know. So consider that area. It says to complete this work, you'll be guided through a series of instructions to clarify 15 things that aren't currently great in your workspace, and then ideate 20 plus solutions. Once you're done that, we want to converge to 3 solutions that you might implement, and eventually you'll actually select one of those. So the whole point of this is to use creative thinking and creative problem solving to improve your main workspace, your main work area. And we're going to start by clarifying some things that aren't currently great, some problems, some issues, about the place that you work. And then once you've clarified those things, you'll select one of those main issues and you'll ideate all kinds of solutions. Once you've done that, you'll narrow down and you'll select 3 and eventually 1 that you might actually turn into reality to actually improve the space in which you work. We know that the spaces in which we do creative things, the spaces in which we are productive, have some kind of an impact on our productivity and our creative performance in general. So this is an interesting exercise in my view, and I've done it with students in the past, and they often find it to be beneficial. It says here, follow instructions below. Be sure to use the exact creative thinking techniques in these instructions. So you'll be asked to do post-it brainstorming. It's also called stick-em-up brainstorming. And what that involves, it involves using post-it notes. And when you're brainstorming, writing one idea per sticky. So you'd write like one thing on one sticky, Go to the second one. I'm sure that you've done this in the past. Now, this is not to be confused with what's called generic brainstorming. Generic brainstorming is when you just make a list of your ideas as you're brainstorming. So I want you here to use the exact creative thinking techniques that are prescribed in the instructions. So it doesn't say to use generic brainstorming. It says to use post-it brainstorming. That means don't just create an outline list. Do use sticky notes, right? So the first step in part 1 falls under clarification. So the first thing we're doing is we're clarifying. We're taking stock of things as they currently are before we actually make any changes to improve them. We don't want to jump ahead here. We don't want to start coming up with solutions. We want to take stock of things as they already are, because we might actually have some issues that are more important than the ones that readily come to mind. Consider your main workspace. Okay, so we already went over what this means. For example, corner desk in your bedroom, etc., etc. And then move on to step 1. So you can see here that there are a series of steps as we move down the instruction sheet. There's in fact 9 steps to this process work application component, to this process work application part of the assignment. So considering your main workspace, step 1 says using post-it brainstorming, come up with 15 plus things. Remember the guidelines for brainstorming. Whenever we brainstorm, we want to strive for quantity. That's the first one, right? We want to come up with lots and lots of ideas. So the minimum here for this assignment is to come up with at least 15 things that aren't currently great in terms of supporting your productivity and creativity in your main workspace. Now, you can use an online app such as this one that I'm using here, Miro, or you can use physical sticky notes like I said earlier. Now, be sure to use separate sticky notes for each idea. Sometimes people will write all of them on one idea. That's not what we're looking for. So check it out. I'm using Miro here. Now, what is Miro? Miro is a virtual whiteboard application. I like it because it's infinitely scalable, meaning you can zoom in a lot, you can zoom out a lot, and it has this post-it note feature. If you want to sign up for Miro, and I recommend it, I find it to be a very valuable tool, just go to Google, right, and search for Miro. And you'll see here that you have some information about it. You could jump to where it says how to register for Miro, and it'll guide you through how to sign up. So you can just sign up for Miro. I would recommend not joining a team. We don't have a team for this course. So you could just create a new team for yourself. Just use your name or something like that. Once you've done that, you'll have a dashboard, right? You can see here, I have lots and lots of different Miro boards. I use this for all my different classes. And you can see that I have one here that says ECP, Enhancing Creative Performance Engagement Assignment. You could just click where it says New Board, right? Click on that and it'll create a new blank board, right? Now, something that you could do here is you could go to this Templates tool in the toolbar on the left-hand side, click on it, and just go to this brainwriting template. If you use that, it'll drop all of these sticky notes, right, onto your Miro board. And you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 42. Now, you don't need that many. You just need 15. So what you could do is you could delete all these ones up here and just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 row, 3 rows of 5. Or, you know, I'm going to leave 4 because it says 15 plus. Maybe I'll want 20. Okay. So using post-it brainstorming, it says here, come up with 15 plus things that aren't currently great in terms of supporting your productivity and creativity. Now, like I said before, you don't have to use Miro. You can just use sticky notes. So you could prepare 15 or 20 sticky notes on a surface like your table, and you could just use a pen and the sticky notes to do this. So check it out. What are 15 plus things that aren't currently great in terms of supporting your creativity in my workspace? So I'll click into this first one and I'll write, there aren't enough lights for working in the evening, right? That's something that I'm not crazy about. I feel like in the evenings, I can have my creativity supported more by having better lights. Okay, what else? What's another thing that isn't currently great? So remember, we're deferring judgment here. And anytime we brainstorm, especially in this course, I want to invite you to just welcome all your ideas in. Whatever comes to your mind, just write it down. As long as it isn't super offensive, right? We don't want to have a stop sign up for when we're brainstorming. We don't want to think, is that a reasonable idea? Is that even doable? No, even if it's not doable, whatever it is, whatever comes to the mind, I invite you to just let it out and let it roll onto these sticky notes. And this is a best practice in general. It's guideline for brainstorming number 2, defer judgment. Okay, so check it out. What else? I'll ask myself, I'll keep asking. What's another thing that isn't currently great? Oh, the walls don't have artwork, and that isn't inspiring, right? So the space isn't inspiring, right? Now, see how I'm having some degree of detail here? If you want to have like deluxe level marks, like the highest levels of marks for this, I would recommend including some level of detail. If I were just to write artwork, that's a good idea, but it doesn't really tell me too much about what I mean by that, right? So instead, I might want to say something like, the walls don't have artwork and that isn't inspiring. Or the space isn't that inspiring creatively, right? Now notice that might make me think of a solution. We're not looking at solutions yet. We're just clarifying the things that aren't currently great. So what you'll do is you'll do that. You'll come up with 15 ideas at least, and you could even aim for 20. That's even better. And you'll have one on each sticky. Now, once you've completed that, it says rate and narrow down. So we've created this idea set. We've diverged. We've done our divergent thinking. We have a set of 15 plus ideas. The next thing we want to do is we want to work with those ideas. Remember, for me, ideation is idea work. It isn't just generating ideas. It's also doing things. So we're going to rate them here. It says step 2, rate each issue on a scale of 1 to 5 in terms of how much of an issue it is. And you want to rate all of your ideas. So it says here, there aren't enough lights for working in the evening. What I could do here is I could just, in brackets, in that idea, on that sticky, I could say, that's like a 4. I'll give that like a 4 out of 5, right? And then I can go here and it says the walls don't have artwork and that isn't that inspiring. Maybe to me that's like a 4.25. What else? The space isn't that inspiring creatively. Okay, that's a little bit 4. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? I'm going and I'm right now. Something that students have done in the past is they've gotten creative. So something that you can do as well is you can go down on the toolbar here where it says shape. You can take like a little circle, and you could, do that, and then maybe turn it a different color. See, Miro has all these different options. And then even in the background, I can make that, turn that a different color. And then within here, I could type whatever my rating number is, right? I could do 4. And then I can duplicate this. So I can go here and it says Command D, duplicate, or just press that button. And then I could just go into this and write 4.25. Maybe if I'm having these all on the bottom right. So you see, you can get creative and do this. If you want, again, those deluxe level marks, be artistic, be creative, do something interesting here. If you want just standard level, right, or basic level, you could just, just go jump in and that's just fine as well. I'm going to go for deluxe level here because I want those big marks. So I'm going to jump in and I'll give that a 5. And you could even prepare them beforehand. You can, put 2 more like that. All right. So Once you've done step 2, it says step 3, tag your top issues with a sticker or asterisk, right? So the tag your top 3. So which are the ones that are rated the highest? So maybe it's this one, and this one at the end. That'll be 4.25, 4.5, whatever. You want to tag them with a star or an asterisk. So you can go back to the shape tool. You can grab the stickers and emojis, right? If you don't see the stickers and emojis, that means that it's buried here in the More Apps part of the toolbar. So you can just click on that and then go to the stickers and emojis, and you can even drag that into your toolbar. That's what I've done. Now remember, you don't have to use Miro. If you don't use Miro, you could just, write your rating number on your idea, and then you can just like draw an asterisk on it. That is absolutely just fine. So you see what you're doing? You're working your way through. Now, at the end of a series of instructions, the document will ask you to photograph or screenshot your process work and then paste it in the document. So you can see here it says step 5, photograph, screenshot your complete rated and tagged clarification stage idea set. Be sure your ideas are clearly legible in the photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot here. Boom. I got it. And then now I'll look for where that screenshot, there it is. I'll rename this file. I'll say clarify screenshot. And then what I'll do is I'm going to paste it where it says paste photo here. Awesome. And then what I'll do is I'll just delete where it says paste photo here. And then I have it in my document. So, of course, you want to do this once it's completed. But boom. Oh, you know what? It didn't actually do it in the right spot, so I'm going to have to drag it. So I'll take this and I'll drag it to the right place here. Beautiful. All right. It says here, Ideate. So once we've done our clarification work, once we've generated these 15 plus ideas on things that aren't great, we will also have narrowed down to the one top issue to take to the ideation stage. It says here, use post-it brainstorming to generate 20 plus solutions to your clarified problem. So what you want to do here is you want to find another area on your Miro board or wherever you're doing this and grab another 20 sticky notes. 25 plus it says here actually. So now we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. So now I have 30 sticky notes, right? It says 20 plus. So maybe I'll just do 25 sticky. I'll prepare 25 sticky notes. So it says here, use post-it brainstorming to generate 20 plus solutions to your clarified problem. So what is my actual problem here? Let's say I'm going to use this one that says the walls don't have artwork that's inspiring enough. Walls don't have inspiring artwork, right? So what I want to do next is use post-it brainstorming to generate 20 plus solutions. So what is one thing that would resolve that problem, right? So I could, what's the problem? Walls don't have inspiring. So I can say, ask my niece, because my niece is an awesome artist. I'll say, ask my niece to create some artwork for my walls. What else can I do? I can say search the internet for interesting posters. I could say get some LED lights for the walls. Right? So you see, I'm just Striving for quantity, deferring judgment, coming up with 20 plus ideas to solve this problem. Now, once I've done that, it says use convergent thinking techniques to rate and then narrow down to 3 solutions. So first, rate each solution on a scale of 1 to 5. Same thing that we did up here. And then once you've done that, tag your top 3 solutions with a sticker, star, or asterisk. Same thing that we did up here as well. Finally, step 8 says select your one best solution that you would make happen. So I'd select maybe ask my niece to create some artwork for my walls, whatever one I choose. And then once I've done that, I'll indicate that in some way. Maybe I'll grab a star. Maybe I'll put it right by that one. That's the one that I chose. And it says take a screenshot of your complete, rated, and tagged. Beautiful. So I'm going to do that here. Boom. And then I'll paste it in that allotted space in the instructions. Now, once that's done, you'll have completed the process work application part, and you can move on to part 2, articulation. So let's see what this articulation part is all about. It says here, in paragraph form, 350 to 500 words, describe your workspace, challenge, and solution. Now, the idea here is to follow the directions below and answer all of the questions in the written articulation. So you can see here on the right side of the screen, I've created a new Microsoft Word file. Okay. And at the top, I just wrote the heading part 2 articulation. In a paragraph, what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe everything that these questions here ask. So it says first, question 1, briefly describe your workspace. It says here, where is your workspace? So I might actually plan this ahead of time and just answer using point form, and then I'll use that point form outline to actually write up, right, what's happening here. So briefly describe, where is the workspace? So I'll say the workspace that I use is in an office that is attached to my living room in my apartment in downtown Toronto, right? And I'll indent. And then it says, what are the key items? So I'll just continue and I'll say, okay, what is the furniture? What's the computer? What are my tools? What does it feel like? I might say, I feel very comfortable working in the space. It's quite inspiring. I like all the natural light. Maybe it's not a space that you find very inspiring. And then it says here to include a photograph. Now, this photograph does not have to be well prepared. Like, you don't have to go and super tidy up your workspace. You could just take a photograph as is. It says here underneath, articulate the 3 key solutions. So what you're doing here is you're taking the work that you did in your process work and you're explaining here what came out of it. So which 3 workspace problems do you feel? You could just say something like, the 3 main workspace problems that I feel are the most limiting are, and then you go to the 3 that you selected. There aren't enough lights, the walls don't have artwork that's inspiring enough, and the space isn't that inspiring or creative. Whatever your top 3 is. And then you say the one problem that I decided was the most limiting that I took to ideation was no. You explain it. Then you move on to step 3. It says articulate the 3 solutions you identified and the one you selected to move forward with. It says here, which solutions do you feel are the best? So I'll say the 3 solutions that I felt are the most critical are no, right? And then the one that I choose to implement or make happen is XYZ. You can see at the bottom here, it says include your articulation in the space provided below. Actually, let me change that. In a separate, so include your articulation in a separate Word document and then submit both documents to the assignment Dropbox on Slate. So that's it. That's all that you have to do here. You have your process work. You have your articulation. That's assignment 1.